Trinity Sports Medicine, in its newly remodeled state-of-the-art facility, has a team of professionals that are committed to helping you move better, feel better, and live better. With services to keep you strong and in the game. A qualified staff of sports medicine physicians, a certified chiropractic sports physician, athletic trainers, physical therapists, and performance specialists. Trinity Sports Medicine has comprehensive care programs that are designed to keep you moving, improve your performance, and keep you on track for success.
Have we started?
Yeah. We started. Hey, welcome to week 6.
That's how we start every show.
That's how we start every show. Fred Younce and the new kid on the block, not Justin Timberlake.
I wish.
No, wait, who was it?
Yeah.
Oh, Marky Mark.
No.
That's who. Marky Mark
His
was on.
brother was in it.
Well, who's brother? Donnie
Marky
Wahlberg.
Marks. Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I'm old. I don't know this stuff. Anyway, Matt Peaslee's here, new sports writer for the Herald-Star, replacing this kid. Dude, seriously, don't dance. Seriously.
I'm a good dancer.
You're white. No.
This is what I signed up for?
This is exactly what you signed up for.
Man.
We're sorry about that. But, before we get to you real quick, how was the homecoming weekend with all the people who played football while you watched them play?
It was amazing because nobody remembered I didn't play. It was a good time. They gave me a little decal, the decals that Central has on their helmets. They gave each of the players one.
Why did you put it on?
I would, but I was sunburnt and it kind of hurts because I wasn't thinking, didn't wear a hat that day. 1:30 sun, not my thing.
You went from white to red.
But Scafidis afterwards was okay.
Okay, there you go. Before we get into football, our boy Matt here graduated from WVU. Don't hold that against him. He also is a huge Pirates honk, which is good to have. And he was at the wild card game.
Who are the Pirates?
Pirates, team that
The baseball team. They have uniforms and everything.
Oh wow, uniforms and everything. Anyway, let's talk about your experience last.
Sure.
After
After 21 years of absolute crap to put up with for the Pittsburgh Pirates, I was able to attend the first playoff game in PNC Park history last night. It was just phenomenal. Louder than any West Virginia home football game I've ever attended. People were waving Jolly Rogers, chanting "Let's go Bucks."
That Jolly Rogers the flag, not the candy. Okay. Okay. Just want to make
That's Jolly Ranch.
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
So,
I'm hungry.
Sorry.
We got to go there. I got to go there and just had an absolute blast. I went with some friends. My dad went too. My dad brainwashed me to be a Pirates fan since I was a little kid and dragged me through torture.
Well, rumor has it your father had way better seats than you did.
Yeah, he was in 117. I was in 333.
You were holding light standards? Is that true?
Yeah, I had to adjust to make sure everything was spotted right on the field. So we just had an absolute blast. Marlon Byrd hit a home run. Russell Martin hits 2 home runs. Johnny Cueto stunk it up because of the fans getting in his head,
How's that,
which was
Cueto?
pretty cool.
Had you ever heard that at a PNC Park ever?
Never heard anybody chanting their name ever, except for maybe Pedro Alvarez after a home run. But they got inside the pitcher's head. He dropped the ball after giving up a home run, and people started laughing and going nuts on him. Just pretty cool to be a part of.
Now, rumor has it, it was like Krzyzewskiville for you, and you stayed overnight. Is that true?
Almost.
Okay, gotcha.
I got there at about noon on Tuesday. I had a ticket in hand, just wanted to get a place to park. Went around the whole city, actually literally the whole city, just to feel what the heartbeat was like.
Yeah.
I went to Forbes Field, the old field. There's a wall still standing out there, and there was people there too, just like taking pictures beforehand. Just wanted to kind of get from the start to the finish of this whole thing, and to get a real feel of kind of what Pirate fans have been missing for 22 years. So went to Forbes Field, the old Forbes Field wall, touched the foul pole with my dad, just to see it, and then kind of came full circle by going to the game.
Now, was the place like once the gates opened? What time the gates open?
Gates opened at 6. I didn't go in line till about 6:20.
Okay.
I met up with some other friends. There was a long line at every gate, from the Roto Clemente gate to the home plate gate to every gate. So,
was it like electric just from the second you walked in?
Everybody was chanting "Let's go Bucks," waiting through the line, getting your bags checked. It was just unbelievable. Like unlike in Federal Street before the game was just a sea of black. People walking to and from, drinking some beer on the Federal Street beforehand. Just an amazing atmosphere. It felt like a college football game, not a baseball game,
Not a
whether
professional
playoff
game,
Yeah,
no.
it felt like a college football game, college football atmosphere. There was even a drum line marching down Federal Street too,
serious?
so that even added to the college football feel and atmosphere. So yeah, the game itself was just almost like a sideshow. It was just the whole atmosphere beforehand, which was pretty cool and special. Andrew McCutcheon's mom sang the national anthem.
Oh, she
which
did?
was pretty cool.
How about Doug Drabeck throwing out the first pitch?
Yeah, he came out, was waving a Jolly Roger towel too.
Really?
And, he was kind of my first. It was fitting too because he's like my first image of Pirates baseball growing up. I was only 3 or 4 years old back in the early '90s, so seeing him on TV back then, maybe going to a couple of games, and then
Right.
seeing him, I think he cut his mullet off a little bit, but he still has the mustache. But it was. Yeah, everything was just
Did he throw a
surreal.
strike?
Yeah. Yep, right. Perfect pitch right down the middle.
Fastball,
95 mile per hour heater right there. He hasn't lost a thing. So.
That's faster than he threw when he was playing, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Because I heard him on the radio. He said he might throw the Uncle Charlie because he said for every game he started every game with a curveball.
Okay.
So he said he might have actually thrown the Uncle Charlie last night, but
Yeah.
apparently he decided to throw a fastball. Oh, you still here? Sorry, I'm talking to the...
Hey, I'm listening to the interesting story. This is better than what we're going to do
I know.
when he's done.
And now you got tickets for Sunday, don't you?
Yep, I'll hopefully be there Sunday. It's my brother's birthday too, so we're keeping the family affair going, and
Nice.
hopefully we'll be able to sit with him and get another win, maybe a sweep.
And you're going to see Liriano again.
Yeah,
He's got the ball
Yeah,
game 3.
I've been to probably 10 or 15 Pirate games this year. That was the first time I saw Francisco Liriano
Really?
pitch too, so he had treated me well, and
Yeah, no
hopefully he does it
kidding.
again on Sunday.
That was was it 90 whatever the year the Chargers beat the Steelers in the AFC Championship game 94. And I was living in San Diego at the time, and they decided to have like a Chargers welcoming back at what was called at the time was Jack Murphy Stadium, now Qualcomm. That play, they were expecting like 30,000, maybe. You know, the place went. There was like 70-something thousand people there, and the place was nuts. So I could just imagine what last night was. I could just imagine.
Just special.
Like,
Special. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Special time.
That's just. Whew, that's good stuff, man.
Yep. Chills, goosebumps all night.
I know that's just good. I know that's good stuff. Because you know once I mean, it'd be one thing if the Pirates would have gone after 21 years and laid an egg.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing.
Yeah,
they
they
played
played a hell
good
of a
baseball.
game.
Yeah, that was,
It was a
probably
great
one of
game.
the best games I've seen all year from them. They only allowed 3 hits. They only struck out twice. Pedro struck out once, and pinch hitter Travis Snyder struck out. But they put the ball in play. They made good plays in the defense.
And no one will. I'm not saying no one will say this, but before, how big was that walk to Morneau in the middle, like the 5th inning, whatever that was? He 8-9 pitch walk.
Yeah, he fouled a couple off, and he was down 0-2 in that count too. I think he was down 0-2 early, and then drew the walk after that. So yeah, just good, smart baseball. They were disciplined at the plate, and
I think that's the one thing that Morneau brings to the field, other than his glove, because we know how good his glove is, we know how good his defensive skill is. But when you that doesn't show up in the box score other than the walk. But when you get a at bat like that, you know, and
a lot of Pirates fans have said he's been a disappointment this year. He's only had maybe 2
offensive
RBIs.
stats, right?
The offense hasn't really been there, but not only that, you get a veteran guy who's been in the playoffs a lot in the past couple of years. You get somebody like that in there. It's
he
good
knows
for
playoff baseball.
Yeah.
How about Marlon Bird, first playoff
At bat
He hits
and
a
crushes it.
excellent.
Yeah, which is hard to believe. He's been around forever. He's 36 years old, and that was his first playoff game.
As old as you. Except he has talent.
I have talent.
It's all hidden.
I eat well.
That's not hidden. Speaking of hidden, last time we had 3 people here, there was Sobleski, so we're still 3 people minus a couple 100 pounds, man.
I know.
Sorry, Brent. I had to.
We could have added 2 more people and still been all right.
Well, you got to go because you actually got to go to work. It's something he doesn't know what to do anymore.
Yep, go Bucks and take it away, guys.
I was up at 5:30 this morning.
That was feeding
Some
Nord.
of us have real jobs.
That's what time I went to sleep. All right, see you.
Yep.
Take care.
Hey, we'll be seeing you, Matt. Hey, I told Coach Meek you'll be coming to see him.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Oh, football.
We still on?
Football. Football?
Football? What's football?
Football is my life. I love football.
What's football?
Week 6, dude. We talk about the fastest 10 weeks of it. Just
Football.
football.
All right. Who's playing this week?
Let's talk about the game you're going to. Bel Air at Indian Creek.
Yeah,
Indian Creek is off. Indian Creek has outscored Bel Air 49-0 the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, that means nothing come Friday night.
Oh. What you got here is you have an Indian Creek team coming off their first loss of the season, 21.
But played well.
Yeah, they definitely played a good game. They actually controlled the clock. They just didn't finish some drives.
Right.
It was only 7-0 at half, and they actually had a shot there at the end of the half to tie the game up at 7 going into halftime and having some momentum. I was talking to Coach Connor's brother Dave this weekend at homecoming. He was telling me, they played an overall good game, and their defense is still outstanding. Bel Air's a little bit different than in the past, not too much. They still wing it around, but they have a little bit more of a running game with Westlake, and West last week had 94 yards rushing. They've hit over 200 yards 2 straight weeks. Andrew Connor had talked about the key against their team is, you got to keep Badia off balance.
Yeah.
You can't just blitz the whole game because they'll find the open guy in the man if they're running man, and if they drop back in the zone and only rush 4, he's going to find that open spot over and over again. They need to switch things up, and This defense has had success with Bel Air the last couple years. Again, you said it really doesn't matter, but they do know Bel Air well, and they still have a lot of kids back that know the kids they're playing.
And obviously, Creek did a really good job last week of controlling the clock. So obviously, Andrew wants to do that again this week. Because the more you control the clock, the less Badia has the ball in his hands.
And Bel Air struggles against the run, except for last week, and even in their 2 other wins, they gave up 165 yards to Hardesty. They gave up 173 yards to Edison on the ground. They'll give up rushing yards, and that's what
Creek does. No doubt. Big Red hits the road, goes to Barberton. I don't know a whole lot about Barberton. I just know Big Red's coming off a 37-21 loss to Massillon, number 1 in the state, Division II. I think number 15 in the nation by USA Today. They were just bigger, stronger, faster than Big Red. Big Red kids competed. A couple kids are dinged up. Now they're going to go on the road. Only game this year on turf, but I expect Big Red to bounce back. And
there was no shame in that.
No, Massillon's a really good football team.
They battled with a very good Massillon team till the very end.
You're down 23-21 with 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, that was a game. What it came down to was their line's playing they only one way. Big Reds is playing both ways. Those big guys just kind of wore them down. They caught them at the end. But this is a very talented Big Red team, a lot better than what people gave them credit for before this season started. I expect them to come out and just punch Barberton in the face.
Yep. Exactly. A rivalry game. We're high at Oak Glen. Now, at the beginning of the season, people would have expected Oak Glen to be favored. And obviously, Oak Glen's had their injuries because Micah Swiger's out, too. Now he's out. He's got a bad back.
Okay.
The quarterback was out, and Weir High's coming off a 2-game winning streak. I mean, they first time they've won 2 games in a row since 2008. Yeah. And I saw one of the coaches the other day, and he just goes, the kids are buying in, they're getting it, and they've got some success. And, they pretty much punched Liberty Harrison, Clarksville Liberty Harrison in the mouth. And it's Larch was a stud, and Bennett and
right now Oak Glen is just struggling. Yeah. Central had them put away. I usually say by halftime. It was before the first quarter was over. That game was finished. They got beat up a little. Bit. They lost a big game. Luckily for them, I hate to say luckily for them, but Central called off the dogs at halftime. Played their backups the rest of the way. That game could have it was 48-0. That game could have been 100-0 if Central would have wanted it to be. Weir's on a win streak. They've won 2 in a row.
You know what confidence does for us?
They have a lot of confidence in the world.
That's one of the things. Kids have to learn how to win, but once they learn how to win, that confidence level just raises. It just goes up.
I have a real strong feeling Weir's going to come out here with 3 games in a row and feeling pretty good about themselves.
Absolutely.
And their chances this year.
Like I said, I've been on the sideline. When we're high and when they've struggled, and the coaches were always positive, always teaching, and always, and they've done some really good things. So we'll see. We got Bridgeport's going to Madonna. This will be over quickly.
Yeah.
Madonna's just a really talented team. And they're just very talented. They're talented on both sides of the ball. They're talented on both lines. Travis Brown at middle linebacker is just a man. You got Nate Guile and Tyler Wiesiak on defense, along with pretty much everyone else. They just need to take care of business, and I don't see that being.
I've seen both these teams live. Madonna has far superior talent to Bridgeport. Bridgeport is coming off a win. Give them credit.
Absolutely.
They beat Canton Valley last week. They're 2-3. They got 2 wins. But this is not a game they match up well with.
No.
Toronto pretty much handled and Bridgeport, and I'm not knocking Toronto. Toronto's a solid team, but they're not Madonna.
Yeah.
Madonna, they are explosive. They have weapons everywhere. You hear so much about Nero and Comas, but Wiesiak, Bowser, Biandillo.
Yeah, exactly.
It just seems like they can hit you any way they want to. Bridgeport's going to be in for a long night.
Speaking of a long night, Buckeye Local had another one last week after playing really well against Creek. They go to Edison this week. Edison had a really nice win against UL. UL is a good football team. I saw the first quarter of that. with the Leishman kid who can run. UL's not a bad football team at all. And Edison, after the first drive, pretty much shut them down the rest of the way. Edison had a chance to go 4-2 and do what they thought they could do.
Yeah, Buckeyes struggling this year. Edison has Nolan Marcus, a healthy Ethan Shannon.
Healthy Hunter Sweat, Devin Tennant, Rich
Springer. I mean, this is an offense that can score in bunches, and their defense, not the best defense in the world, but
they played well last week.
They play solid, and Buckeye Local doesn't have a lot of threats against them. So, Edison, I expect to grab another win this week.
Now, Toronto has their homecoming this week. They got St. John Central. Now, this is a nice reprieve a little bit for Toronto, considering they've played 5 games, 3 against teams in the top 10 in the state. Last week at Shadyside, and Shadyside obviously is really good. Central's really good, and Wellsville's really good. Those are the 3 losses, so no shame in that. They've lost to, and those teams combined are 15-0.
Yeah.
So that's who they've lost to.
No shame in that.
Now, as long as not only they come out, are they healthy? Pretty much, Toronto.
I mean, they're still playing some young kids, but that's because they're a young team. But Coach Meek didn't mention any key injuries. They still have all those weapons we've talked about before. They're explosive. They just played
good football team. Yeah,
good football. Especially the last 2 weeks, they took some rough. They were some rough games.
Right.
But this is a team that can play physical. They have athletes, and St. John Central is not very good.
Yep.
I keep saying that about some teams. There's some teams that are struggling right now, and this is a great game for Toronto to get
Absolutely. There's 2 7:30 games. Harrison Central goes to St. C. St. C will be without Jalen Brown, will be without Michael Ferns. Jalen Brown hurt a knee that didn't look good at all. Hurt his leg, could be an ankle, I'm not sure. Didn't look good at all from what I was told. Okay. Ferns is out with a shoulder injury. But Harrison Central also, I think, turned the ball over 5 or 6 times last week against Ferry. Lost 42-14. You can't turn the ball over. I don't care who you're playing.
No.
You just even if it's against you and I, you can't turn the ball. You just can't turn the ball over. But St. C's just a better ball club than Harrison. And Harrison's gonna watch out for them next year. That's all I got to say.
But I mean, with Jalen Brown and Michael Ferns, St. C is
still a better team.
A way better team, but you take them out, they're still a better team. Yeah,
but they still have to compete because Harrison's coming out.
Because Harrison's going to come out, they're going to feel confident because they're going to see their 2 big dogs not playing.
Right.
They're going to come out swinging. We've talked about their defense is tough. They've had some struggles on offense with turnovers, obviously, but they have a solid defense. If they can get a couple turnovers, we've talked about it before. We talked about it last week, and it worked out the other way. They had turnovers, but they can get a couple of those, hang with them early. You never know, but St. C is just very talented, even without their 2 big guys.
All right, now you go across the river to Wellsburg, and Brooke has another team that's ranked in that. They're ranked, I think Point Pleasant is ranked 11th in the state. I think maybe 4th in computer points. So now they got another ranked team in the state. I don't know. Brooke's been playing some pretty good football. I mean, they played a tough Park team last week. I think Brooke gets it done this week, to be honest with you. I just think that, they still have some talented kids. They're doing a lot of really good things. They really haven't been blown out, per se. I mean, they've been beaten, but not except for week 1. They've been in all the games. Yeah. And they're growing up quickly with all those young kids.
Yeah. Don't know a lot about Point Pleasant except that they are ranked.
And Brooke beat them last year on their home.
Yeah, Brooke went down there and beat them. I like the way Brooke's playing overall. I picked Brooke this week. I picked Brooke in our pick'em. So, yeah, unless you changed my pick.
Yep, I picked him too.
Brooke. Yeah, I like this team. I think this is a team that we keep saying it continues to grow and get better every week.
Yep.
And they're a Point Pleasant team ranked or not. Brooke knows they can beat them. These young kids were all playing last year when they beat them. They have that belief and they're playing well. So I think they're going to get it done this week.
All right, last game Saturday night. So you don't have to get a sunburn this time. You ever heard of a hat or sunscreen? Just curious.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking. But I don't think too much.
I was going to say, what's the difference?
Thinking has never been my strength anyway, so I probably wouldn't have brought it.
I did. Look, my highlight Saturday was seeing some little girl named Nora. So,
my little girl was cheering for her daddy. She had her.
I saw that, man.
She had the.
You had as little hair then as you do now.
Yeah, I had the flat top. It was on purpose though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever.
It was. I didn't go bald until late 20s.
All right, Central plays Conotton Valley. This is going to be
It's a whooping. It's a whooping.
Listen. This is one of those, and I understand people talk about these games, but when Central scheduled them, Canaan Valley was talented, but this is also one of those games that you take care of business when you're supposed to take care of business. You get all your young kids in, and you want those young kids to have experience on the whites because those are the ones who are playing next year.
This is a Canaan Valley team that took a beating, lost like 42-17, I believe, to Bridgeport.
Yeah.
We've talked about Bridgeport earlier.
Yeah.
Central is annihilating teams right now. Pretty much unless Central just comes out and fumbles the ball in their first 5 possessions of the game.
Yeah.
This game is going to be
How about your boy Johnny
quickly.
D getting a touchdown pass?
He's been doing that.
Dude, if he dropped that, he would have been I would have whooped him.
He's a little quick, dude. He might not be tall like the rest of the team, but he flies.
I know, man.
But their offense in general is unbelievable. And then again, you got to mention their defense. I know Glenn hasn't been a very good team this year, but you do. You got McCann and Jimmy Joe Mort, and you got Fallon and Parika and Murphy sticking people.
Who's the other kid on the front?
Oh. I can't even remember. I'm sorry.
I'm drawing.
I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, my brain doesn't work. But basically, they've been owning the line of scrimmage. Their linebackers and defensive backs are coming up and hitting people.
Yeah,
they have one of the best cover corners in the valley in Khalil Jones. He was a starter.
And Fletcher's back there.
And you know what Fletcher can do as an athlete. I mean, this defense they've got a group of kids that like to hit.
Yeah.
So. You combine it with what that offense can do and what that offense has been doing. Yeah, that's a scary football team.
That is a scary football, and they're playing really good.
Very good football. Really good. I'm looking forward. Can we get to Madonna Central? That's where I want to be. They can't look ahead. We can.
I'll make sure you find somewhere else to go that night.
I'm busy that night.
You're never busy. Seriously.
Sorry, Madonna, I love you guys, but I have my blue and gold on that day.
I might even make you work to make you be impartial that night.
You can't make me be impartial.
You just want to eat.
I'll have my notebook and a Crusader shirt.
And pasta right there because you a mess.
Most likely.
See you next week.
Toodles.
Pasta. You can get it from Scaffidi's.
Scaffidi's is good. It's fat already. So do we have to do something goofy so you can put it on the
I'm waiting for the goofy to fold.
No.
This is what I signed up for?
This is exactly what you signed up for. We're sorry about that. But